Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Dave Allen has called it a day on his boxing career, saying he just doesn't want to get punched anymore. So I'm a little bit late to the party, so I'm not going to read through a statement which you've probably seen elsewhere, but here it is on screen anyway. But he says, "I don't want to get punched anymore. Long gone are the days of the kid from Donny who just wants to fight." So Dave Allen, 28 years old, his last fight at 27, obviously a bit of a polarizing figure in some ways because he's taken a lot of punishment over the years against some very good fighters, but hangs up the gloves, calls it a day, and I think for a lot of people they'll be saying good luck to Dave Allen, but also his health, he probably is putting it first here with this decision, which he did say he did make in conjunction with his sister. So there has been some reaction from his peers, his promoter as well, Eddie Hearn, see here on screen, saying you've made some interesting decisions in your career, but yesterday you made the best one. Wishing you a happy retirement, White Rhino. Glad to see you leave happy and healthy. You have a good heart and an exciting future ahead. And it must be noted as well, Dave Allen, after he announced his retirement, posted some footage of him sparring with Alexander Usyk, which happened recently as Usyk was preparing for Derek Chisora. Dave Allen flown out to the Ukraine, preparing with Usyk. And you can see here him taking a big left hand, and he says in the little sort of commentary next to the clip that he didn't remember anything after that for about 30 minutes. He says at the 5-second mark, I do a very loud snore. This is my last idea of what happened for the next 30 minutes, but I didn't go down and I finished the round, but for all intents and purposes, I'm knocked out from the second left hand. And I guess it's one of these sorts of things, this likely factored into the decision of his retirement. He's taken a lot of punishment, and sparring as well, we have to forget. It's not just the fights. He is having rounds when he's training, and obviously out in camps, he was with Povetkin, he was with Usyk. He's seen these guys, what they can do, and how they're sort of touching him up in the ring. And if his heart's not in it anymore, I can fully understand the decision, because it's one thing to try to, graft away for the payday and just think, okay, well, the money's worth it, I'll take the punishment. But he's clearly taken his fill, and obviously over the course of his career, he's faced a lot of top-name fighters. You think Dillian Whyte, Luis Ortiz. He's also taken a pasting from David Price. There are others as well. He is a guy with limited defense who took a lot of punches to the head, and I think many of us have sort of said that he sounds a bit different in terms of his speech from, say, 3 or 4 years ago. So I think at 28, even though that's pretty young for a heavyweight, given his limited defense, it's a good call. And others have been reacting as well. Derek Chisora here saying, wishing you all the best, happy retirement, drink, eat, and I won't say that last part. David Haye, he has said, we wish White Rhino all the very best with whatever he chooses to do next. He announced his retirement from boxing. Lucas Brown, a former opponent of Dave Allen, perhaps his best win on his record, he says, well done and good luck to White Rhino in all that life brings from here on in. Nathan Gorman as well, saying, seen White Rhino announcement, absolute top fella, known since about the day I turned pro, knows his own mind, and I wish him nothing but the best. Good luck, bro. And MTK, which has been managing Dave Allen more recently, says, or has described him, I should say, as a cult figure in the sport. And I think actually that's a good way to describe Dave Allen, because most of his popularity hasn't necessarily been from his boxing style or his in-ring achievements. He has been a guy, one of the few that has really utilized social media to its fullest extent to build a fan base. And he is a cult figure in boxing, and because his maybe profile outstrips the achievements that he had in the ring, he's also been a bit of a polarizing figure, I should say, because sometimes the performances haven't matched the hype, and that has irked some people to some extent, that he's gotten more opportunities on certain cards over other potentially more talented fighters, and primarily that has been of his profile. I mean, there's that whole whole meme, and here it is again, the Dave Allen pay-per-view button that Eddie Hearn would push whenever he needed a card filler for a pay-per-view. And that was true to some extent. Allen did appear on several pay-per-view events. But overall, he's prioritizing his health. He says he wants to sort of settle down, have kids. But I guess with Dave Allen, we've been here before. He's hinted at retirement and even retired before. So how long will this last? Will it actually be enduring? I think this is the biggest in terms of a retirement announcement, in terms of the reaction as well. It kind of feels like it might be final, but at 28, is he going to have some sort of second thoughts down the road? Because 3, 4, 5 years' time, he'll still be quite young in terms of heavyweight. I mean, maybe he will sort of revert to something else to keep himself occupied. I could see him going into, podcasts. Potentially, he could be doing some commentary here and there. He's a very, fun and affable guy. People do warm to Dave Allen, and that's been part of the reason he's been able to build a cult following. So I think he will have some sort of future in the sport, in boxing, that'll help pay the bills. And obviously what he's done in his career to date, he's earned a decent amount of money, and he's been buying houses in Doncaster and all that sort of stuff. So it's not like he hasn't exited the sport with nothing. He has come out of the sport with more than probably many would have expected at the start of his career. So Dave Allen, he retires at 28, not necessarily the best boxer ever, but he did show heart. He was a good guy. And I think many of us, most of us, will wish him all the best in his retirement, whatever he chooses to do. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Boxing_squared. I'm out.